Good morning, learners. Today we are doing lesson 4 in your resource pack. The topic is on the debtors ledger, and for this section, you can refer to pages 144 to 145 of your textbook. Let us begin. I'm going to discuss the format of the debtors ledger with you. Everything is nicely explained in the resource pack, so let's look at the format. Right. The details are as follows. Firstly, we have the name of the business. As you can see in my example presented below, we have debtors ledger of Geordie Jewelers. Okay. Then we have the name of the debtor. Remember, a business can have very many debtors, and in this case, it is Brenda Bronze. Now, in the debtors ledger, remember, because it is the debtors ledger, I am going to indicate a plus sign over the top of the debtors, a debit column, and a minus sign in the credit column. So this helps me to calculate the balances owing after each transaction, and it makes it easier to understand. Okay. Thirdly, we have a debtors ledger number for each debtor. That is used as a reference for later use. In this case here, we have D1. Can you see D1? So Brenda Bronze is debtor number 1. Then a source document name and number under each of the debtors, under each of the detail column. Okay, when I present further down, can you see it? Under detail column, the source document number. Then the dates on which the transaction between the business and the debtor occurred to be under the date column. Can you see the date column? So we go according to each date and transaction as it goes along. Then we have a reference for the journal in which the transaction was recorded to be entered in the folio column. Here we have the folio column. Example, for an invoice, we are going to record in the debtors journal. Therefore, for invoice, it should have been written DJ here. A receipt, we use a CRJ, which means every time a debtor pays towards his account, the amount or the folio will be a CRJ, and of course the amount will be deducted from his total owing. The next one, the amount of the transaction. For each transaction, we have an amount indicated. After we do the operations of each amount, we take or we create a new balance here. I will show you just now how to complete a debtors ledger. Then we have an updated balance after each transaction so that the balance owed to the business is known immediately. Note, a balance that the debtor is still owing at the beginning of the month is brought down. Can you see here? 1st of August, balance BD is brought down, and that was what Brenda Bronze owed Geordie Jewelers in July, at the end of July. So 1st of August, that amount was brought down. Okay, now let's look at how to complete a debtors ledger. I will take you step by step. Instruction is use the following transactions to complete the debtors ledger of Brenda Bronze for Geordie Jewelers for August 2019. Let's look at transaction number 1. The balance owing by Brenda Bronze at the beginning of the month is 17,700. So I'll go to the beginning of the month 2019, August 1st, balance brought down. I go straight to my balance column is 17,700. On the 9th, Brenda made a purchase of 1,300. For that, issued invoice V949. So on the 9th, we indicate invoice V949, and she made a purchase. The purchase will be recorded in my debtors journal. So folio will be DJ, and the amount of 1,300. How do I understand these operations here? Now remember, Brenda owed Geordie Jewelers 17,700 at the beginning of the month. Then on the 9th, when she made a new purchase, we've got to take 17,700 plus 1,300, which will give me a new balance owing by Brenda. That's 19,000 Rand. Okay, hope you understood that. Let's look at the transaction on the 15th. We received 5,000 cash from Brenda towards her account. For this, we issued receipt number 68. So, I'm looking at the 15th. My receipt is 66, right? Here would have been CRJ because we are receiving money from Brenda. And remember, because she paid 5,000 towards her account is now going to be reduced. Means we're going to minus it off her balance owing. So it's 19,000 minus 5,000 will give me a new balance of 14,000 Rand that Brenda owes at the end of the 15th of August. The next one on the 17th, Brenda purchased goods on credit for 2,000. She received invoice V1002. So on the 17th, it's invoice V1002. Again, it's supposed to be Debtors Journal. So when Brenda purchased again, the amount of 2,000 Rand was added to 14,000. That's 14,000 plus 2,000 to give me 16,000. Okay. So on the 22nd, Brenda was unhappy with a purchase on the 9th and decided to return the stock to the value of 500 Rand. For that, we issued credit note. Remember, when a debtor returns unsatisfied products or stock to the business, they do so with a debit note, and the creditor will issue a credit note to the debtor. Okay, so credit note number 003 when goods were returned by Brenda. So I go to the 22nd. It'll be credit note 003. For this will be Debtors Allowances Journal. That's DAJ. That is the journal that is used to record all returns by a debtor. And that's where we get our information from. So it's DAJ under folio. And because Brenda's outstanding amount is going to further decrease by 500 Rand because of the return, we are going to post it to the credit column. Can you see here? So it's 16,000 minus 500 to give me 15,500. So learners, just like how Brenda has transacted over the month, we have a final amount that was owing by Brenda for August. So that was 15,500. So similarly, we will have various other debtors and they will have different kind of balances. Okay. And when we take each balance by each debtor and we combine it in a little document called the debtors list, that will tell us the total amount owing by all debtors. Okay, learners? Let's go further down. I'm on page 10 now. These are little notes to remember when you complete the debtors ledger. Let's look at these notes. You bring down the balance outstanding in the balance column. Whenever a debtor makes a credit purchase, his account to the creditor increases. Therefore, we first enter the date under the date column, then complete the details with the information of the source document given in the transaction, then record the folio, that is Debtors Journal. Remember, Debtors Journal is used when the creditor makes a purchase, right? And then we enter the amount of the purchase under the debit column. Remember, debit column is increasing the amount owing by the debtor, and add to the previous balance to record a new amount in the balance column. This new amount is now increased from the previous balance. Okay, that is when a debtor makes a credit purchase. When a debtor makes a payment towards his account, remember his account owing now decreases. Example, when mom goes to Edgar's and purchase products on credit, each time she pays towards her account, her balance is now going to be reduced. Okay? So we enter the date, we enter the detail, the receipt number from the transaction under the details column. We enter the folio of the subsidiary journal, in this case is CRJ, because the business is receiving the money. That is CRJ where you recorded the receipt of money. Thereafter, we enter the amount in the credit column. Remember, on top of the credit column, we had written a minus sign, which means the amount, the debtor's account now reduces. Now subtract the amount that you have entered from the previous balance to give you a new balance. Enter this new balance in the balance column. Okay. Now, what do we do when a debtor makes a return? Remember, his account also decreases. We enter the date, we enter the credit note number, that's from the transaction. We enter the folio of the journal, that is DAJ under the folio column. Now enter the amount in the credit column. That is, the debtor's account reduces because of his returns. Now take the previous balance and subtract the amount he returned and effect a new balance in the balance column. Remember, the debit column increases the debtor's balance, that is whenever a credit sale is made, and the credit column decreases the debtor's balance, that is when payment is received from the debtor and when returns are received from the debtor. Okay, learners, I hope you understood this section. In class, I will reinforce it again for those who could not understand. I want you to complete this activity now. You can use your resource pack to do it. Okay, it's rather simple. Here we work backward, right? So we are going to provide information to complete all the blanks here. Okay, so we have a balance brought forward or brought down. BD or BF is fine. That is 2,000. Then we see M. Naidu has made a purchase. When he made a purchase, which journal? Debtors Journal. And what's going to happen? Don't forget to insert your plus here and your minus here. So it's 2,000 plus 3,000 to give you 5,000 Rand here under G. Thereafter, DAJ, what do we write here? Credit note number 8. Okay, so we take 5,000 minus 1,500 to give me 3,500. Then we received money from M. Naidu and we issued receipt number 12 on the 18th. And for this, I will be CRJ. And what amount did we receive? We take this amount, we can minus, do a reverse operation. That's 3,500 less 800 will give you the answer to J. Okay, learners. So this was a short section that is going to help you understand further the debtor's ledger. Okay, bye for now. I will return to you with activity 5 or lesson 5, 6, 7. In lesson 5, 6, and 7, I have labeled it differently from your resource pack, but the headings will be given to you exactly. Okay, bye for now. Take care and be safe. Thank you.